Hello guys, welcome back to the next tutorial. In this tutorial we are gonna see how to access web page elements and how to interact with web page. So let's get started. First we will see what are locators. Address that uniquely identify a web element within the web page. Command that tells Selenium Webdriver or IDE which GUI element it needs to operate on. Let's take an example of python.org to explain locators. This is the Python website. You can see different elements on this web page. These elements are text field, button, images, title. All these are elements. So each of these elements has an address in HTML document, which is also called DOM, by which we can interact with this element. For example, there is a text field. This field has an ID, name, and few other attributes. These attributes make this text field unique and it is uniquely identified on this web page. There is a button as well, but it has different name and ID, which is different than this text field. So we can locate these elements by their name or ID, etc. Prerequisites. There are some prerequisites which you should keep in your mind. First one is find correct GUI element. Finding the correct GUI element for creating an automation script is a prerequisite. Sometimes you might be able to find correct GUI element and sometimes might end up with incorrect GUI element. And sometimes you might not be able to find element at all, which creates difficulties. So you need to find the correct GUI element every time. Next one is find unique GUI element. You need to find unique element every time. If there are two buttons with same name, for example submit button, then when you write script by using button name, you get an error because driver finds two elements in the page, but which one needs to be clicked, it's not specified. So driver won't be able to click the required element. If you select an element which is unique, script will be running perfectly fine because driver will be able to find that unique element easily. What is DOM? The Document Object Model is a programming interface for HTML and XML documents. It contains the document structure, style, and content. It can be called HTML document, or you can say it HTML document as well. How to access DOM? Let's take a look with example. In web page, right click on it and there is an inspect element option, so select this one. Here is the console. You are seeing HTML of this page here, which contains different HTML tags. For example, there is a HTML tag, there is a body tag, there is a head tag, and different tags as well. And the footer tag and other tags as well. So under this head tag, we usually have style sheet and title of the page, and under this body tag there is a complete content of the page. See, when I hover my mouse over this body tag, then the complete page gets highlighted. Content includes buttons, text field, drop down menus, labels, and so on. So this complete HTML page or document is called DOM because it is usually under the document tag. So let's see what are the attributes of element: ID, class, name, value, type, etc. As I already told you, elements are text field, buttons, labels, and so on. So let's take an example of text field to see what attributes are associated to this text field. First click on this option and then click on this text field. You will see when you click on this text field, element in DOM gets highlighted. Here you are seeing ID, class, name, role, value. All these are attributes of this text field. Every attribute has value. ID has value, that is ID search field. Class has value, search field, and so on. We can interact with this text field by using any of these attributes. Similarly, other elements on page have more or less same attributes. For example, this button has attributes ID, class, type, more or less these are same. Let's see how we can find element in Selenium. There are some methods which are provided by Python for us, which we can use to find elements on web page by utilizing the code. There are various ways. These are also called types of locators, and ID, name, class, tag name, link text, partial link text, CSS selector, and Xpath. All these are locators. Here you are seeing find element by ID against this ID. This is a method provided by Python. We will use this one to get element. Likewise, find element by name is used for the name tag, and find element by class name, find element by tag name. All these are methods provided by Python, and we will use these to locate element, and we will use this one in our script. Most commonly used locators are ID, CSS selector, and Xpath, and the common practice is to use CSS selector, as this is the most important and widely used. It is much faster than the Xpath. Apart from above methods, there is one more method which might be useful. Find element parenthesis by ID, and here is the value of ID. By class is provided by the Python. We can use it in this way. What we can do is, instead of using the above method, find element by ID, find element by class, we can use this one, find element parenthesis by dot ID, and here we will write the value. We can also use by Xpath, by ID, by class, and so on. In this tutorial, we will see a couple of ways to find elements. Let's go through these one by one with an example. First, we will see ID, find element by ID. Let's input any text in text field and click on button to search it. Select this text field. This field gets highlighted in DOM, and where is the ID? This one. Here is the ID, and you can see ID value is ID search field. Let's copy this one. The only constraint is here. We need to make sure that there is only one element and it should be unique. Then we will able to find the element. I have copied the value, so let's add it in script. In PyCharm, I have created a class named as test element locators, and here I have initialized the WebDriver and then add the URL. Let's add URL here, python.org. it will find the element from this website. So let's write self.driver.find element. Here is the list of find elements. You can use ID, class name, CSS selector, link text, and so on. As this I'm gonna tell you about the ID, so I will select this one by ID and paste the value here. This one was the value. This value should be inside the quotes because it's a string, and it should always be inside single or double quotes. And locator text is find element by ID. How do we make sure we are actually finding the element? In Selenium, we can actually go to the real code which Selenium has provided us. So press the control button and your cursor should be on this method. It will bring this hand, click on it, and you will go to this class, Webdriver. This is a real class which is written by Selenium Webdriver, and this is the function which is implemented. It says find element by ID, and parameter is ID, which it takes. And there are some comments for us to understand. And here is the tag. It's returning self.find element by equals to by.id and value whatever is provided here. But the important thing is to understand here is that it returns something. It returns element for us, which means we can capture the return value in a variable. So let's do it. Create variable. Let's name it as element by ID. This statement will return element, and this is why I have added a variable here. So let's add condition here. If element by ID is not none, then print we are able to find an element, and let's input value in this element as well. What you need to do is use this variable element by ID dot send keys, and let's input download, or we can input Python 3.6.4. We will find Python 3.6.4 from the page. Send keys is basically used to input value. Let's use button here as well. So button, or you can use it button, simply button, equals to self.driver.find element by ID, and here should be the ID of button. So let's go to the website and select this button and select this one ID value, input here, and as it's returning a value, so I'm saving it in this variable. Now click on this button dot click. It will click on this button. Let's run code. And see, it's working, and the value is printed out here. Execute 0 means there is no error, and this is the statement which was written here, so it's printed out. We are able to find an element. To make sure element is also clicked while running, let's add wait time here. Time dot sleep 1 second, and let's import it. Import time, and also add time, or no, I have added a wait time here to see it's inputting the value or not. Let's run the code. And see, value is being entered here and button is being clicked. It's working fine. Let's try another locator, that is name. Find element by name. So let's copy this one and comment out this code. Select element by name. So this one, we can add comment here. Select element by ID. Let's differentiate it. Okay, so just replace ID with name here, and here as well. And here we need to find the value of name. Remove this one as well, and change the variable name element by name. Name. Okay, so let's find name value. Select text field, and here is the name value. How to make sure the value is unique in this DOM? So you can paste it here. Here is a search field. You can paste it here. Only this value. Or you can write it as name equals to, it will give you 1 of 1. This one here is only the one value, so it's showing it's a unique value and it's the correct one. So let's select this one and input it here. Let's find the value for the button. Here is a button, So this one, submit. You can check by adding it here, name equals to submit, and yes, it's also unique, one by one. So add it here. So let's run code. Value is being entered, and yes, it's working fine. Let's copy the code again, and we will see now another locator, that is class name. Paste it here, comment out the first one, we are going to find element by class name, so writing it here by replacing the variable name, class name, and find element by class name. Yes, replace variable here as well. And for button as well. Let's find value. In web page, select the text field again, and where is the class? This one. Select this one and check it's unique or not. So for checking the value, you need to write here class equals to value, and yes, it's giving me 1 of 1. It means it's a unique value. So let's input it here, and for button, where is the class? This one, search button. Input it here and see it's unique or not. Yes, it's giving me only 1 of 1. So input it here as well. And let's run this code. And see, it's working fine. Exit code is 0, and we are able to find an element. It's printed out here as well. So guys, practice it and let me know if you have any question. Thanks for running this one, guys. Stay tuned for the next tutorial.